Welcome to Real Judaism with Rabbi Ari Klapper. Unfiltered wisdom for Jewish life.
Okay, we're here on Daf Kuf Pei Vav. We're in the middle of going through this little piece, this actually long footnote that Rav Pinkus brings from the Chovos Lovos Shar Cheshbon HaNefesh, and we were talking about how all types of chochmah really come from the Ribono Shel Olam. A person is given certain talent, and the talent is not his. Really, the talent that he has even is not good enough to truly get to the places where his chochmah takes him. That extra siyata d'shmaya that a person gets, even in non-Torah related topics. That was the purpose here of the Chovos Lovos. Now here in the top of Kuf Pei Vav in the footnote, he's going to give an example. Alecha achi lavin ki hamatar ha'ikaris b'mitzvos hamutalas al yibarim hi. So he's expanding now. He's not giving an example, but he's expanding on what we just said, and that is by explaining the relationship between the chovos lavavos and chovos ha'ibarim. Right? Just a little bit of an understanding before we explain what he's saying. The Sefer Chovos Lavavos was written to explain the chovos halavavos, to explain the duties of the heart. Most of the mitzvahs in the Torah are mitzvahs that we do with our bodies. The mitzvahs that we do with our mouth by speaking, or with our hands and legs moving, eating, doing things. Most of the mitzvahs in the Torah, seeing, right? All the physical aspects of ourselves that we do. We eat matzah. We wear tefillin on our arms. Even Shabbos, we don't do malacha. We make kiddush. We hold the cup of wine. We say the words. We make havdalah. These are all things that we do. These are all maisim. That's what the chovos ha'ivarim are. Chovos halavavos are the mitzvahs that we do with our minds and we do with our hearts. And that's what he wrote this whole sefer about, the mitzvahs that a person does with their minds. So the very beginning of the sefer, the first shar after the Hakdama, the first shar is shar hayichud, believing in the oneness of Hashem. That's a mitzvah, to believe in the oneness of Hashem. Emunah, bitachon. Well, bitachon is later on down the road. That's shar boides Elokim, where really shar Shechinah first, recognizing Hashem, what Hashem does in the world. These are all mitzvahs of emunah, and then he gets to shar bitachon, which is the famous one. How we have bitachon. These are all things in our heart. These are all things in our mind. Those are what the chovos lavavos are. So now he's coming to bring it. What is that connection, the interface between the obligations that a person has on his body and the obligation that he has on his mind? So what is the purpose of the chovos ha'ivarim, the responsibilities of the body? The purpose of the mitzvahs of the guf are to awaken ourselves on the inside. They're to awaken the mitzvahs that are on our heart, the ones that are hidden, the ones that nobody sees. Because that is the foundation that we build our avodas Hashem based on.
We're talking about two different types of mitzvahs. So we're saying in that mitzvah is another kavanah tagli, which is supposed to be lower.
Well, the way he makes it sound is hamatar, the purpose ha'ikaris b'mitzvos hamatulos aleivarim, the mitzvahs that are dependent on your body. Meaning, why do we do the mitzvahs that are dependent on our body? In order to awaken the mitzvahs that are on our hearts. Yeah, different mitzvah. A different mitzvah. Yeah, that's what it sounds like. That's the purpose of it. Because the mitzvahs that are on our hearts, that is the foundations of all of avodas Hashem. That is the root of the Torah. Like the pasuk says, Hashem, your God, you should fear, and you should serve him. Because it is close to you I believe this is from Parshas Nitzavim. Your avodas Hashem is close to you. It's in your mouth and it's in your heart to do it. V'nemar ma Hashem Elokecha sho'alimucha ki im liyira es Hashem Elokecha. To fear Hashem. The whole Sefer Mesilas Yesharim was built off of this pasuk in Parshas Eikev, where it's really a remarkable pasuk, right? There's a modern song now that goes something to the effect of Kadosh Baruch Hu, I want you to be my Rebbe. Tell me what to do, right? Tell me what to do to get close to you. It's a song that's going on. Yeah, I'm not going to sing it right now, but that's a song, right? Hey, people are searching. God, what do you want from me? What do you want me to do? There's a pasuk in Parshas Eikev. The pasuk says, Klal Yisrael, I'm going to tell you now what Hashem wants you to do. Yeah? How does the pasuk go? Hashem Elokecha, ma shoel Hashem mimcha. What does Hashem want from you? Ki im liyah, and it lists 5 things there. What does Hashem want from you? It says very clearly, this is what Hashem wants from you. He wants 5 things. He wants you to fear Him, number 1. He wants you to love Him, number 2. He wants you to follow in His ways, to have good midos. He wants you to have a leiv tahor. He wants you to purify your heart, not do things for different reasons. Have purity the reason why you do things. And the 5th one is to keep the mitzvos. So if you look through these 5 things, the first 4 are all in your heart. Well, I guess maybe midos is how it plays out. So maybe 3 out of the first 5. 3 out of 5. Love Hashem, fear Hashem, and purity of your heart. Those are all things that the person doesn't have to even have any limbs, and he can still be makayim those 3. And the other 2 are midos, and then finally keeping all the mitzvahs. Right? That's the last one on the list. Because really that's what Hashem wants from us. Hashem wants from us to serve Him. So if a person is not sure what to do and he's asking Hashem to tell him what to do, you should look in the Torah and he'll see. You should look, if you're not sure after that, you should open up a Shechinah, a mishnah, and then he'll see even in greater detail what he should be doing.
Song doesn't answer the question?
It doesn't seem like it does. I don't know. Maybe I didn't listen to the end. I don't know. Maybe it does. But certainly, if it's unclear, you can definitely look in the Torah, Parshas Eikev, or all you have to do is open up a Mishnah Berurah, and you'll get your answer. Let's continue. Mikevan shekim mitzvos mutalos ala Mikevan shekim mitzvos mutalos ala leiv amatzvun hu lemala mikoichu shel adam. Really, since the kiyum of the mitzvahs is dependent on what's going on in your heart, really it's above the capacity of a human being. It's impossible for a person to be mekayim this until he removes himself from all the taivas in the world, all the physical, animalistic drives that a person has. Person can't really connect to his heart unless he removes those things first. Until he conquers his nature, and he reins in all his desires. That's why Hashem gave us physical mitzvahs. The purpose of the physical mitzvahs is to counteract the physical drives that we have. In a way, actually, it's a way to direct. You may change. Maybe I'll give you my own shot. And this is not just a fight. It's not to fight the animalistic tendencies that we have. It's not to destroy our physical selves. The purpose of the mitzvahs is not to do that. The purpose of the mitzvahs is to take those animalistic tendencies that a person has and to transform them into avodas Hashem too. We're using our physical bodies instead of in a base way to run after our base desires. We're using our physical bodies to serve Hashem. So when we're eating matzah, we're using the act of eating to serve Hashem. When we're using our body to serve Hashem. So now it's not pulling us away from Hashem, it's bringing us closer to Hashem. That's the purpose of the mitzvahs, to guide our bodies to be doing the right thing. So now there's no war anymore. There's no war between the physical and the spiritual. I bring the physical onto the spiritual's team. Now, even that's serving Hashem. We're not trying to squash the physical, that there is no physical. That's what Goyim do. Goyim believe, or at least the ones who are interested in spirituality, they believe that there are two worlds, and the two worlds can't go together. There's the physical world and the spiritual world. And if you really want to be spiritual, you've got to crush the physical. Physical brings a person away from spirituality, they believe, which is why in many other religions, they don't get married, or they deprive themselves of food, or they deprive themselves of speech, or they deprive themselves of all physical things so that they won't be involved in the physical, and therefore they can be totally spiritual. That's not the Torah way, besides the fact that it doesn't work. But it's certainly not the Torah way. The Torah way is to take that physical and bring it onto the spiritual team. Use all the physical things for spiritual purposes. And that's what the Chovos Halevavos says is the purpose of all the physical mitzvahs that we have out there. The kasher ha'adam mitmaser l'kiyum mitzvahs belibo u'mitzvuno. When a person puts himself out to be mekayim these mitzvahs of the leiv, the ones that are hidden there, and he does his best to be mekayim them, Hashem will open up. Hashem will open up new levels that a person never thought they could reach. He'll even reach places that really he couldn't reach. This is when a person serves Hashem with his body, his soul, with his chitzonius, with his outer self, and with his penimius. My heart and my flesh will sing to you, Hashem. When a person tries their hardest to do what is in their capacity to do, Hashem will open doors. Hashem will open gates. They'll go way beyond what they thought they could do. Way, way beyond. If a person really, really tries hard, you see people like, wow, how did that happen? Like the story we said about the Shechinah last week. But you see it other people as well. People reach unbelievable madregas. You ask them if they ever thought in their life they would ever reach such a thing. You know, it's mind-boggling that people can reach such high madregas. Wow. Now here he's giving a mashal. What is a Oived Hashem similar to? La'adam shanata eitzim kedei lahanot achar kach miperoseim. Somebody who plants a tree in order to enjoy the fruit afterwards. Im adam ze oiker tchila et ha'asavim haroim misaviv the shartei ha'eitzim. If first he gets rid of the weeds, all the weeds in the place that he's going to plant a tree, umenake et ha'adam, and he cleans the ground, umotzi mimeno ha'koitzim, all the thorns, and the weeds, and he waters it properly. He waters it the right time, and he gives fertilizer when it needs it. He can rely on Hashem at that point that the tree will actually sprout fruit. Meaning, in the end of the day, you did all these things. But does the fruit come because you did it? No, it's because Hashem made the tree to do that. A person can do everything right and it still won't happen. Same thing when it comes to avodas Hashem. If a person works hard and he really pushes himself to do what he can, Lasois az Elokim oizer lo lasois gam et ma shehu lamala biyecholto asher zeu apri anale v'hatoiva v'nichbada shalokim noten lebechirav. Then Hashem will bless him. Hashem will give him what he really wants to do. He wants to be a better Oved Hashem. Hashem will help him do that. If Hashem is going to help the person who's doing the physical thing, You're learning the chochmah that isn't necessarily related to anything in the Torah. Obviously, the Torah is the source of everything. But if Hashem is going to help that person who's learning mathematics or physics or any other science or whatever it is, Hashem is going to help that person. And certainly Hashem will help the person who's working on their avodas Hashem. And they just can't, they want to be able to finish us. How am I ever going to be able to finish us? But I want it so bad, I'm trying so hard. And you know what? Wow, I did it. I can't believe it. Did it twice. I did it 3 times. I did it 5 times. Wow, unbelievable. Person will reach that. And they'll get that fruit that they're hoping for. Here it comes to the end of this footnote and the end of the chapter here. The next chapter is a short chapter here. It's a short chapter. Should we start? We'll start a little bit. Okay. Perek Daled. We're coming close to the end of the Sefer. Amazing. Perek Daled here. Lo tivaru eish. Just as a sikum, up until now, the whole chapter has been talking about how we are reflecting Hashem. That's what we're supposed to be doing on Shabbos. We are supposed to be the representatives of Hashem in this world. We are supposed to be the ones who are mimicking Hashem, that we can see Hashem through us, and that's what Shabbos is. Shabbos is the gateway that Hashem comes through. We can see Hashem. That's what we're supposed to be doing also. And that's also seen in Limud Torah. Because in Limud Torah, and that was this past parak, in Limud Torah, we can be so close that it's as if Hashem is coming. We don't have it from ourselves, the Torah. It's coming straight from Hashem. So now here in Perek Daled, we're going back to the topic of Shabbos. The parak over here is called Lo Tivaru Eish. Lo Tivaru Eish. Don't light a fire on Shabbos. So let's see how much we can get done here. Moshe Rabbeinu alav shalom, shahaya gadol b'Torah mikol Yisrael mipnei hayoso onav mikol adam, v'ayisa Shechinah midaberes mitoch roinoi, hinei omru kol hakoyes im chocham hu chochmaso mistakelet mimenu Moshe. This parak here, even though the parak is called Lo Tivaru Eish, a person should not make a fire on Shabbos. This parak is going to be talking about kas, anger. I believe I quoted this once before. I don't know if he has it over here, but from their sources in Kabbalah, that the pasuk of Lo Tivaru Eish b'chol mosh b'yiseichem b'yom Shabbos, that one should not light a fire in your dwellings on Shabbos, is actually a reference to anger. A person should not get angry on Shabbos, and it seems that's the way Rav Pinkus is going to be going in this parak. And he quotes from Moshe Rabbeinu that the Gemara, what we just read just now, the Gemara says that even though Moshe Rabbeinu was such a high level that the words of the Torah came through his mouth, the words of Hashem, it's like Hashem speaking. He was using Moshe Rabbeinu as his megaphone. It was through Moshe Rabbeinu that the words of Hashem came out on such a madrega. And yet it says that anybody who gets angry will lose their chochmah. And where do we know that from? From Moshe Rabbeinu. How? This pasuk is a pasuk in Parshas Matos, I believe. Pasuk in Parshas Matos is talking about there was a war. The war was that Klal Yisrael was told to go take vengeance for what Midian did to Klal Yisrael by Baal Peor, and to more or less wipe out Midian. That was what Hashem told Moshe to do. And Moshe took 1,000 soldiers from each tribe and sent them to battle. Really, he took 2,000 soldiers. Maybe according to another opinion, he took 3,000 soldiers. But at least 2,000 per shevet, which means 24,000. 12,000 sat and learned in the Beis Medrash, and 12,000 went to go to war. And the ones who were sitting and learning in the Beis Medrash were the ones who were giving the chizuk to the ones that were going to war. It's an interesting idea for our army, if anybody's interested to know. L'maiseh, when they came back, they did not lose one man in battle. Not one. It was really amazing thing. And they brought back all the loot and all the booty and everything, and they also brought back women. Slaves. They brought them back as slaves. Brought back women. The Moshe Rabbeinu got very upset. What are you doing? How could you bring these women back? They're the ones who caused Klal Yisrael to sin at Baal Peor. They're the ones. That's what the pasuk says. He jumped on them. He says, "What are you doing?" And then right afterwards is the only place in the Torah where it says the following line: "V'ksiv vayomer Elazar hakohen el anshe hatzava haboim lemilchama zois chukas haTorah asher tziva Hashem as Moshe." They learned the halachos of Hagalas Kalim and Tvilas Kalim. Who taught them the halachas of Tvilas Kalim and Hagalas Kalim? Elazar HaKohen. Aaron HaKohen had already passed away, and Elazar was the new Kohen Gadol, and he taught these halachas. You believe that? It wasn't Moshe Rabbeinu. Why not? What happened to Moshe Rabbeinu? Shedavka Moshe haya miyuchad b'dveikuso tekev shekas nistalka mimenu chochmah. Why? Because he got upset. And the truth of the matter is, he wasn't wrong. Moshe Rabbeinu was right. It was the wrong thing to do. They should not have brought these women back. They were not deserving of to continue on in this world because of the crime they committed against the Jewish people. So he was right, but he got angry. And because he got angry, he forgot the halacha. Because he forgot the halacha, Elazar HaKohen had to teach the halacha. Why? Because one moment that he got angry, he was disconnected from Hashem. Like we said before, Moshe Rabbeinu has this koyach that he's mamish dovuk to Hashem. Everything came through Moshe Rabbeinu. It came straight from Hashem through Moshe Rabbeinu. That's the best. That's the best. But for 1 second, he was disconnected and he forgot. He forgot the halachas. That is the koyach of anger. That's anger can do to a person. That's built into the bria, even though he wasn't wrong even for it. He wasn't even wrong. But that's it. You get angry, you're disconnected.
It says never moves from anger.
So that's what they say. What's anger? It's supposed to be, if a person is going to be angry, they say it's supposed to be kas haponim below kas halev. Person should be angry, their face should look angry, but inside they should not be angry. Because sometimes person needs to be angry. Winkelman used to always say this. He used to quote that maybe he still does, that Rabbi Ber, when he had to get angry at a Talmud, he would excuse himself for a second and go into the other room to put on his kas hat. He would go put on his kas hat, and then he would get angry and give it to the Talmud, and then he would hang the hat back up, and then he wouldn't be angry anymore. Why? What does that show? It shows that he was in complete control. It shows he needed to show anger because he needs to show what the bacher did was not right. So he needs to give him proper musar. But don't think for a second that he really couldn't control himself. He was in complete control. Kas halev is aser. Kas hapeh, kas haponim, sometimes we need. Sometimes you need to show anger. But to feel anger, now obviously these are very high madregas. Very, very, very high madregas. But the point is that there is a mitzvos over here. And the mitzvos shows that when Moshe Rabbeinu got angry, he was disconnected from Hashem. And again, we're supposed to be connected to Hashem in order to be the mirror of Hashem, especially Shabbos. We're going to see in this parak, we'll stop over here, but we're going to see in this parak that kas is a big no-no. Keshkoach.
Thank you for joining Real Judaism, where we explore Torah's wisdom for real life. Created by J Foundations and produced by Eli Podcast Productions. Find more episodes at realjudaism.org and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.